I found out June of this year that I suddenly had to move because the house I was at, paying all my stuff that was in an 800 square foot house, had to move, and I had to. All I could find was like a 1-bedroom, or not even a 1-bedroom place. It was a 1-room is what I'm renting right now. So I have stuff in 5 places, including a storage shed. And this was after a divorce in 2019. So where I went from a 3,000 square foot house down to an 800 square foot house that I shared with somebody. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at this point. It's like I knew I couldn't afford, with the underpaid salary acupuncture job, I didn't qualify for a place to live. So I needed to do something, so I started my own business. So then working part-time at the other place, and working part-time at another place too, which is commission-based, and it's building up. So you know, we'll see what happens there. I've had a lot of no-shows and stuff, and a lot of people cancel and stuff, so I don't know what's going on with that place. So this week I have to, there's a praise on this, that I actually have 7 patients Monday and 10 on Friday, and last Friday I had 7 people, which 3 of them showed up. So
are you thankful for the 3 that showed up, Christine?
I am definitely thankful for the 3 that showed up.
Are you concerned about the 4 that didn't show up, Christine? Just curious.
Concerned. I just had COVID, so I knew I was probably going to get COVID at some point.
You did get COVID? I lost her.
She does stuff in the house at 85. I did lose a couple people from, I was concerned, just because I had a couple people both from my practice and the practices I'm working for, and it didn't,
You're frozen? Christine, you're frozen. There you go. All right. So I can't hear you. So let's do it this way, Christine, if you don't mind, and play with it if you don't mind. I do know the phone. You have good internet service on your phone? Oh, she's gone. That means she'll try again, you think?
I don't know.
Carol, sometimes when people's internet on their computer is a little wonky, when they dial in on their phone, the phone is better.
Yeah, I knew what you were trying to tell her to do, but I was trying to stay out of it.
No worries. No. So if she'd had a 10-year-old in the house, wait, hey Carol, or 6-year-old, they're very techie. They're very tech savvy, these kids. They can just go into it and just dial it up for her. So, and anyway, it is what it is. So we shall not, hopefully she'll get back on. She sounds like a very, very nice young lady.
She is, yeah.
Yeah, I know this session will be very good for her because there's some things we're going to cover. Carol, I know you probably understand why I asked her about whether or not she was concerned about the 4 people who didn't show up. Do you have an idea about where I was going to go with that, Carol?
Yeah, here she comes. She's trying to get back in.
Okay, let me, let me see on my end. Where is she? There you are. Cool. Are you there? Yes. Christine, you there? Oh, wait.
Yeah, but she doesn't have her audio on.
We can't hear you.
You don't have your audio on.
Ah, there you go. She unmuted. Yeah. I was telling Carol, Christine, that
I'm having
your phone would provide you with great audio, because that's what cell phones do. Even if there are numbers on the Zoom link that you can just dial in, and you can at least have audio, even if you if you like go wonky on the Zoom thing with the computer. The cell phones are a great support for you for that. Just if you want to do that, it's up to you. We'll just go ahead and get started. So those who chime in.
So just so you know, your admin gives 2 ways to log in, through Eventbrite and then also with a Zoom link.
I asked her to send both of them. I asked her to, I just may ask her to please still send the link anyways. So Christine, did you dial in by the Zoom link or the Eventbrite? They both work, by the way.
I did the Zoom link on my messenger on my phone because I can't connect with this other guy in Australia. Messenger on my computer, it won't work. So it looks like the only way I'm gonna be able to do it is take a few minutes and deal with this person.
Okay, we will allow you to do that. You do what you have to do, okay? No worries.
Okay, yep.
No worries.
I waited a week to try to deal with this.
You do what you have to do, honey. You do what you have to do. It's not a problem.
Thank you.
Yes,
I appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Okay, so
just so you know, your admin did not send out telephone number links. I know what you're trying to say, but I'm going to the Zoom link that she sent out yesterday, and it's just to use the Zoom link to connect to the call on Sunday at 3 p.m. or connect directly to Zoom using the information below.
Would you like for me to forward it to you, Carol? Or?
Yeah, it doesn't look like she sent out telephone number type things, you know, where you can dial in from your phone.
Okay, let's do this.
I'm just letting you know. That's all.
Not a problem.
It's not a big deal.
No. I'm just gonna check something really quick here. I can easily forward what I have. It's not an issue. Oh, you know what I can do? Hold on, let me go back. Technology is a wonderful thing. Let me pause this. It's actually 2 days after Mon Chadi's birthday. It was December the 10th. He had
Yeah, how was it?
It was good. He ate to his heart's content. So when you get a certain age, there's certain things you like, and food is one of them. So it's very easy to please. And that was good. That was good. So, but today is the last session for, in fact, this is, what is this, December 2021, so this is the last month. So I'm doing monthly sessions, and at the end, I'm going to show you all some topics. I'm going to continue the free workshops with Live with Coach Viv because I think they're so much fun. And I'll show you all the topics that I came up with for next year, but I will certainly invite you to...
Oh, that's how you...
Christine, yes? I certainly invite you to share some comments of some topics, some ideas of topics that you'd like me to cover. But today we're going to talk about love, fear, illness, poverty, wealth, weight retention, and whatever else you want to talk about. But the bottom line is no matter what you talk about, it's all energy. Everything that we're going to be talking about is really all about energy, okay? So the way the workshops work here is that Q&A can go on throughout the entire presentation. This is not about me here pontificating. This is really here for you and for me as well. I'm here to learn just like you are. Okay, we're all learning. And I don't claim to know everything. I mean, there's a whole lot I don't know. And I'm actually learning from other people, which is actually a beautiful thing. And I really enjoy that. So, but this is really what we're going to be talking about today. Of course, Live with Coach Viv. And the big thing I want you to pay attention to this particular slide is that statement right there that says, everything in the universe, tangible and intangible, is energy. And Carol, this is nothing new to you. This is like old hat to you, Carol. But I like to mention it to people because no matter what the subject matter is, no matter what we're talking about, it all boils down to energy. And the issue about energy is, what do you do about it? Okay? You are energy. And everything you deal with is energy. There's no such thing as you are not being energy and something else is. Everything in the universe is energy. And how do we know that? Well, my good friend, the good doctor, Albert Einstein, said this a long time ago. people say he was ahead of his time. I say he was right on time, Dr. Albert Einstein. And he said everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality, which I call energetic state, and we'll talk a little bit about that, the energetic state, because they're all energetic states of energy. Match the frequency of that reality that you want, and you can't help but you get that particular reality. Okay? So I want to know, based on that statement, what does that mean to you? When it says match the frequency of the reality of what you want and you can't help but to get it, what does that really mean to you? Carol, what does that say to you?
If you've got a lot of really positive energy going towards something, you're probably going to get a lot of positive energy back. And if you are not really caring that much about something, you're probably going to get that too.
Good. That's exactly what it means. That's exactly what it means. Christine, you have what do you think about that statement? What does that mean to you?
I missed part of the statement because it wasn't coming in on my computer at all, and I was trying to get on my phone, and I still can't figure out how to dial in, but I'm on Wi-Fi or cellular data, so we'll try this and see if it works.
Can you see the screen, or shall I read it out loud?
Oh, yeah, I can see the screen.
I want you to comment on the last. Okay, let me read. Albert Einstein said that everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality, and the reality is what I call energetic state. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. What do you think that means?
The bottom part?
Yes, what does that say to you?
Yeah, basically, if you have a higher energy, more positive instead of the negative, then you're going to attract more of the positive.
What about the negative?
Well, if you've been that way, I'm trying to stay out of that direction. If you're more in that direction, you're going to attract more of that, and everything you look at is going to be negative.
So, may I restate, just so I'm hearing you? So whether it's positive or negative energy, whatever you give out, you're going to get back. Is that pretty much what it says? Is that what you? Yes. Yeah, very good. Now, I'm going to, this next slide. Uh-oh, what's happening now, Vivian? Aha. So what does that mean to you, my beautiful souls? Are you still struggling with what I call low energy? And these things that are on the board here, guilt or shame, I'm not saying this is any of you guys, poverty, fear, sickness, envy, not enoughness, and in your case, hold on here, Christine, you have some things going on in your life. Do you think some of the things going on in your life will be classified as having some low energy states, Christine?
Oh yeah, and it's worse the second I have to step in the door where I'm having to live. I really have to do a lot of work to stay in a positive energy and stuff, and
okay,
that tends to be me doing meditation and me going out for walks and doing stuff and staying away from the other individual in the household. But then me holed up in my room doesn't do well either at some point. So yeah, there's stuff going on.
Yes.
And all of it rides on I need to make more money so that I can afford a place to live elsewhere. So
yes,
it fluctuates, and I'm definitely better out of the house. I'm definitely better when I don't get overwhelmed with all kinds of technical issues and a lot of stuff on a to-do list that are the little loose ends that I try to get figured out and settled, but I have problems getting help with some of the stuff.
Okay.
In a timely fashion, so it just kind of adds up, and so it's different every day, but I aim for the more positive.
So let us pause for the cause, ladies, right now, and do something that we normally do. Carol is familiar with what we do when we get on calls. We're going to take a moment to we're just going to breathe. And the reason we're breathing is because you can't live without air, first of all. And the thing about breathing is you're going to make room and make space. You're going to push out some stuff that's not working for you energetically to allow in some good energy that's going to help put you into a better energetic state so that things can start working out better for you. So let's just pause for like just less than 10 seconds. Let's just take, well, first of all, just everybody, wherever you are, just reach your hand to the ceiling and just stretch your arms. Just a nice, good stretch. Just stretch it out, reach to the ceiling. And after you do that, just take 3 deep belly breaths in and out, and then we'll come back and resume our session. Just 3 deep breaths. 1 in through your nose. Hold it, and then exhale with your mouth. Again through your nose. Hold it, exhale. And 1 more deep belly breath. The interesting thing about breathing is this, that no one can do it for you. You have to do it yourself, right? No one can breathe for you, and no one can think for you. Okay, and you're going to learn before this session is over with is that no one can create your own energetic state. You do that yourself. Now, can people influence how you show up energetically? Absolutely. And Christine, that you remind me of that when you said that you feel better when you get out of the house. There's a reason why you feel better. But what if I told you, Christine, that there is a way you can be eventually, that no matter where you are, whether you're in a house where people are cuckoo bananas or not, you have that peace. And what happens when you stay in a place of peace, one of 2 things will happen. Either the peace is going to go, the craziness that's not lining up with your peace is going to disappear, or you're going to disappear. Because the 2 have to be congruent for it to work. In other words,
I was going to say, is there a way to do this when you're being triggered like PTSD? Because I'm being triggered with hypervigilance and scanning and stuff based on the behavior that's going on in the house.
Yes.
And then
yes.
That's the big trigger that's happening.
Yes. So the fact that something is a trigger.
Criticism.
Now you know what?
Criticism is the other big thing. Criticism and going after me.
Okay.
Verbally and getting upset with me 1 minute and then all happy hunky dory the next and all over the place. So. Okay.
So that means there's some work to be done on your part as well. So.
Definitely. Yeah. I do. Yeah. Anyway.
So because and we're gonna cover that in a little bit too because well actually we can I don't want to jump too far ahead because it's a process here. So let me just say this. You're in the right place at the right time. Okay. So. It seems like some of us, we can identify with some of these faces here, okay? All right? Now, I could have put a happy face up here, right? But I didn't on purpose, and there's a reason why. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Here's what I want to go to next, and this thing is about thoughts. Thoughts, what we think, okay? That's what thoughts are, what we think. The behavior is about what we do, and of course, emotions about how we feel. And all these 3 pieces are what I call a cognitive triangle. And they feed off of each other. And here's what I want you to know if you don't learn anything else in this session, and that is this. This process you're looking at right now never changes. It is permanent. It is in nature, and you cannot alter that. It doesn't matter what you do. You cannot alter it. But what people don't seem to understand is that everything starts with a thought. There is nothing that does not happen that doesn't come from a thought. Whether it's a thought that you came from some ideas that you had or thoughts that came from some things that other people said. I was reading listened to a story today, and it said that words are the clothing of ideas. Words are the clothing, as if like a dress or a pants, of ideas. Words. And words are thoughts that are expressed. Everything starts with a thought, whether it's consciously done or unconsciously done. Everything starts with your thinking, whether you are rich or you're poor, whether you're in a 3,000 square foot house or 800 square foot room or 480 square foot room. It's all about your thought. And the thing is, what I like to tell people, and sometimes it really pisses people off, is that your best thinking got you in the situation that you're in right now. And your best thinking has to change for you to get out of it, because you cannot have the same thought process that brought you into the situation to get you out. You have to change your thinking. The thinking behind the behavior and the emotions will have to change. The thing about emotions is I want you to understand that emotions anchors your behavior. You do things a certain way based on the emotional thing that you feel. Okay? So I'm going to ask a question, and this is for Christine. And Christine, what exactly are emotions? What are they?
I was going to say what we feel, which is already on your picture there.
But what are they?
The emotions.
Yeah, what are emotions?
Sorry, energy. That's what I meant to say. I had 5 hours of sleep last night. So.
Okay.
So my brain's a little frazzled. Yeah, I would say it's energy, because you have the emotions of, fear or joy, or, and that's positive and negative, and it's energetic.
Now watch this. Now bear with me. Bear with me and hold that thought right there. Emotions, and Kara, give me some if you agree. Emotions is just what it says, is energy in motion. Emotion is energy in motion, right? Think about it. And you feel it in your body. Your body is a radio transmitter receiver. It feels things. That's what it does. Now, some people over time, because of trauma or things that happen to them, they say they don't feel. Well, it's not that they don't feel. They just have desensitized themselves so that they're not aware of the emotions or the feelings that are in them. But there's no such thing as not feeling. Okay? Because you are a radio transmitter, and you always will feel, whether you are aware of it or not. Now, because emotions are energy, right? Some things feel good and some things feel bad. Would you agree, ladies?
Yeah.
Thumbs up. Now, if something feels good to you, do you think it's good for you? What do you think about that?
Yes.
Good. If something feels bad to you, do you think it's out of sync with who you really are, or that it doesn't work for you at that time?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the question. How and why is it that you can feel good and also feel bad? What dictates what feels good, and what dictates what feels bad? What do you think? Now look at this triangle and answer the question within the context of this triangle. They're all connected. You have a good feeling, then maybe you have a bad feeling. What is determining what determines whether or not that feeling is good or bad?
Sometimes you don't have control over the environment, though. Because I could be in a coffee shop.
Wait, I'm going to stop you. Wait, is the environment on this page here?
No, but I'm just saying you need to stay here.
I want you to answer.
I mean, what if if you're in a coffee shop and everything's great, and then all of a sudden somebody walks in who's really completely angry, kind of changes your mood, right?
Now, why is that so, Carol?
Because that person brought that type of energy into the picture.
Well, what does that have to do with you, Carol?
Because you're like, in your happy place, and somebody walks in who's not in a great place.
Wait a second. But Carol, you got to answer in the context of the triangle. Huh. So let me make one more statement, Carol. You beautiful soul, you. What another person comes into a room with, behavior-wise, really is not your business. The only business you have is how you show up. And only you can show up with your thoughts, because nobody can think for you. Nobody can behave for you, and nobody can have your emotions except you. So the fact that a person came into the coffee shop with a bad attitude, what does it say about Carol in the context of your thoughts, behavior, and emotions? That's the context in which I want you to think about answering that question.
I can be easily swayed depending on what is happening around me.
Why is that so, Carol? Well, Vivian, if I knew the answer to that question.
I pay attention to what's going on around me. And, if all of a sudden the cop is pulling up behind you and you have no idea why, because you really, truly weren't doing anything.
Are you thinking that, or are you acting that way? Which one, Carol? I want you to pay attention to what's happening. There's something going on.
You get nervous. I mean, you get scared, right?
Watch this now. Stay with me for a second. Is scared on the board?
No.
Here's what's missing. Here's what we don't pay attention
I'm
to.
not trying to play devil's advocate. I'm just saying.
No.
You can totally be in this thing, but then, you know.
You are right, Carol, but I want you to understand this. Let me just back up one more time. I said, and I'll say this again, there is absolutely nothing that happens without thought. How you feel and your perceptions, your fear, the underlying basis of your fear is your thinking. What is it you're thinking about that situation? And you do it so automatically, it's subconscious. You're not even aware you're thinking about a certain kind of thing. How is it that a cop can come up behind some people and they don't get nervous, and they can come up behind another guy, he's about to pee in his pants? It's the thinking, like, what are you afraid of? The fear. Fear just doesn't come out of the nowhere. It has to have a thought behind it. Okay? So what we were getting at, Christine, is that there is nothing that happens in life, even in the environment, that your thinking interprets that meaning behind that event that's happening.
All right, so I can already see where this is leading for me. It just, I don't feel safe. I feel like
Yes.
I'm going to be in trouble or
Yes.
judged or
Yes.
run from or whatever based on my narcissistic abusive marriage that I was in. So, and it's triggering the same stuff. I'm losing my hair and
Absolutely.
the same kind of stuff, actually almost worse.
Copy.
At least I knew what to expect, and I wasn't going to be thrown out of my house with 30-day notice, if I don't follow the rules exactly or make people happy. So anyway, yeah, no, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. So now watch this now. So if your thinking is such that it interprets behavior and the environment, and only you can think, because nobody can think for you, you have the power to change your thinking. So the core premise is this: well, Vivian, if I'm the only one who can think for me, and my thinking is in line with what's happening, is it possible that if I change my thinking, that the stuff that's happening to me can also change? And the answer is absolutely. Why? Because everything is coming through you. And if you go back to the original statement about what Albert Einstein said, that when you match the energetic state of whatever's going on around you, when you match it, then that's going to be your experience. So it's not so much changing the behavior of the guy who's walking to the coffee shop with a badass attitude. What matters most is your attitude about the guy who's walking in the coffee shop. Is he distracting you from your inner peace? If he is, then you don't really have inner peace. That's been disrupted, and you can't have that peace, okay? So no matter whether you're dealing with a guy walking in the coffee shop who has an attitude, or a cop who's behind me because I have this fear that, oh my God, I'm a woman of color, so he's only pulling me over because my skin is brown, blah, all this stuff in my head, which could all be true, quote unquote, true for me. Okay, and then he comes up, and because I'm afraid, he sees I'm afraid, he's going to be, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to feel my energy of being fearful. And a lot of times people play on that. Would you agree? If you are afraid of something, people play on that, and they take advantage of the fact that you're afraid.
They say that animals can detect fear too. Like if you see a dog coming at you, a dog detects fear.
Absolutely.
As well.
Very good, Carol. And I have another piece for you. If you're ever out in the woods and a deer runs away from you, you think he's afraid of you, right? It's not so much fear. Instinctively it is. But notice that they run away from you because you don't feel good to them. You feel different from them. You are so off their energy. You don't line up with the way they feel, so they get the heck out of there. Why? The instinct is to flee. Why? Because they want to be safe. And we do that too. We still do the same thing. So don't let me beat this horse to death. Let me move on to the next slide, because I think this is actually a good conversation. So now stick with the word thought. I'm going to go to the next page. Now, the human mind is like a Petri dish. Christine, do you know what a Petri dish is? You ever heard of a Petri dish?
Yeah, I was a biology major, and I used to put the media into the Petri dishes. So yeah, I'm very familiar. Cool
beans. So now the agar, the medium that the Petri dish is made of is an agar, which is a plant. It comes from algae, right? You can have this. Yeah. agar can be bad. Sometimes you can get some terrible agar. It just doesn't wait a second. It has a wrong constitution. The ingredients just aren't working. So if you put something on it, it won't grow. The medium won't grow whatever you put on it, right? So, and Carol already knows what a Petri dish is. So here's the piece. Whatever is put on that Petri dish, okay, will grow. Your mind is like a Petri dish, right? And thoughts are the seeds that are being put onto the top of the Petri dish, and they will grow. So if you think about your mind being a Petri dish, you got to think about what's in the Petri dish. What is the Petri dish made out of? It's made out of agar. Well, what is agar? What's agar, Christine? We don't have to get technical. I'm sorry, I'm a zoology major too, so I don't mean to be too technical.
It's a medium that stuff can grow on.
Yeah, and the medium has to have the right nutrients in it. Otherwise, it will not support whatever you put up there for growth. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Very good. Now watch this now. So bear with me. Stay on that page. So the Petri dish, think about your mind being a Petri dish. And think about your mind also being soil. The agar is soil, right? What do you want to talk about soil, Vivian? The soil is a place where the seeds are planted. So what are the seeds? What do you think the seeds are, Carol? It's one word. Let's go back. What do you think the seeds are for the agar? Is it behavior?
Emotions?
Is it emotions?
Emotions?
It's thought.
Thoughts, okay.
Everything starts with
you're right.
thought.
Yeah,
okay?
thoughts.
I'm going to keep saying it. Everything starts with a thought. So watch this now. The soil is the place the seed is planted. It is the environment in which the seed germinates and grows. The soil is the mind. The mind does not care what you plant in it. Just like the agar doesn't care what you plant on it. You can plant some spores of daily nightshade on it. The agar doesn't care. You can plant E. coli on it. Does the agar care, Christine?
No.
No, it doesn't care. Its function is to grow and support the growth of whatever you plant on it. So the mind will support or germinate anything and everything you put on it. Your continued thoughts, whether they are positive or negative, are what provide the fertilizer and supports the growth of your seed. You have the power to change the content of your mind, or you have the power to decide what seeds you're going to plant in your mind. Okay? You have that power. We may not think we do. Some of us think we are disempowered. A lady sent me a sign that says, when women support each other, incredible things happen. Empowered women empower other women. I thought that was such a cool statement. Okay, that was her thinking. And then it says the quality of the soil, again going back to the agar, which could be spoiled, the quality of the soil depends on what you put in it. You must take care of your soil to keep the weeds from growing and choking the plant that impedes its growth. Weeds are fear-based thoughts that get planted in your mind or soil. Let's talk about this seed real quick. We're taking a look at the agar, so let's talk about the seed. Thoughts are seeds. Thoughts produce outcomes. Let's go back to this slide. Thoughts produce outcomes. Outcomes always match the seeds you've planted. The quality of the outcome depends upon three things. Okay, the quality of the outcome. It depends on the type of soil you planted your seed in. It depends on the attention that you give it or that you don't give it, because if you don't give it attention, the proper attention, the weeds will grow. And it depends on your attitude. The natural law of sowing and reaping says this: you reap what you sow. You become what you plant. Your thoughts produce your life experiences. This is from Coach Viv. What do you all think about that, Christine and Carol? Talk to me. Dígame, por favor. Tell me, what do you think about that?
Sorry, I got distracted again because I'm still having problems with this guy in Australia, and he started trying to log in again. also, and of course my computer, it says it has complete internet connection, but it keeps saying it's not connected even though it has 3 bars. So I don't know what's going on. Sorry.
Did you? Okay, Carol, I want you to don't worry about it, sweetie. If you miss some things, you can only hear what you can hear, so don't worry about it. You will hear what you're ready to hear, so no worries about that. So Carol, can you comment on some of the things we just shared? Did you forget?
Yeah, what's your question?
The question, Carol, is what do you think about the seed being thoughts and the soil being your mind as it relates to the Petri dish?
Well, again, you can have positive thoughts when you're away from the environment, but sometimes the environment can make it bad.
Yes, that is true.
I mean, I've had so many jobs where my home environment is awesome, but man, oh man, the bosses that I've worked for, some of them, I have no idea how they got their jobs. I really don't.
Okay, so is that your business?
No, but I mean, I feel in some cases like I could have done a better job being the boss than they were. Because they were just so abusive in the way they treated people.
Okay,
and
that...
they thought that...
Excuse me.
No, they'd come, with the, 1980s attitude, not the, what is it? Be a boss, not a buddy kind of attitude.
So, Carol, what do you think you could have done to change that, is my question.
If you treat people right, you get more with honey than you do and sugar than you do with, beating the crap out of people every day.
Well, Carol,
I used to literally, because I've had so many sales jobs, I would leave the office when one of my bosses started being just ridiculous and stupid.
So, Carol, it sounds like you're talking about two things, Carol. It sounds like you're talking about the behavior of somebody else, and it sounds like you also talk about your feelings about the other person's behavior and how it impacts you.
Well, I mean, you can know what you're doing and feel really good about it and know that you know what you're doing and have some person standing behind you saying, you didn't close the sale. Well, maybe there's 10 reasons why you don't know right now why that didn't happen, and I don't have the time to talk to you about it. So let me go close the damn sale before I spend the rest of the day talking to you about it. Just saying. That does happen.
Yes. So
it's real world.
So the question still remains, Carol, what do you want? What do you think you can or should do about that? Do you think you're powerless?
In my case, I'd walk away from it because I couldn't control it.
What is it you're trying to control, Carol? The other person's behavior?
No.
What are you trying to control?
Me, before I want to do something really obnoxious and mean to them or lose my job.
Yes.
Because I did something really obnoxious and mean to
Copy. Carol, look at the triangle again. Where are you in this conversation? Are you talking about your thoughts or are you talking about your behavior? And
behavior.
You're talking about your behavior and how it all makes you feel, yes? Because it feels horrible.
Walk away from the environment where the behavior could get testy.
Yes. And the stuff does not feel good. It feels awful. Now, Carol, watch the arrow. Does it go back to thinking, Carol?
Mm-hmm.
Now, watch this, Carol. The only way you're going to change behavior and emotions is it must start here. It must start with the thinking. Everything starts with thought. It is what we call first cause. It is unfortunate that we're not taught this in any schoolrooms or any school books. We're not even taught that in Sunday school or philosophy classes. I know I was never taught that. And I have a grandson who's in school right now who's never been taught that. So if thought is first cause, right? Here's a good analogy. Let's say Christine stepped on a nail, right? And the nail is stuck in her foot. Christine, I'm picking on you, honey.
I was going to say, that's horrible.
I know, right? But Christine, the nail was rusty.
Oh.
Okay? That makes it worse, right? The
done
nail,
that before.
watch this, Carol. The nail is still in your foot, Christine. You never got the nail out. It got infected. You put antibiotic. You took antibiotics. You took IV antibiotics. You put stuff on the wound. You understand? You got it all bandaged up. You wash it every night in Epsom salt to clean the wound. But Carol, Christine, until you take the nail out, which is the first cause of the problem, that foot would never heal. In fact, if you don't take the nail out, over time it can gangrene, and guess what? You can lose that foot. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah.
So look at the rusty nail as the thought or first cause. And it is always the first cause for everything. We do what we do because of our thinking and our feelings that support our thoughts that anchor our behavior. Now, that was another whole course I taught a while ago about the incredible power of thinking or thoughts. But I always, no matter what workshop I do, I always have to come back to the aspect of thinking. And your mind is a Petri dish, and your thoughts are what determine what grows on that Petri dish. And that's why we brought up that example. This next quick slide, I want to show you all a few things. Just bear with me with this. Hope you can see this slide okay. Let me see if I can move this over a little bit. Emotions, action tendency, communication, and action indicated. Let me move this thing down here because I can't even see it. All right, let's say, for example, let's go to the emotion of sadness. And these, now emotions are neither good or bad. It's about the energy, what the energy frequency is. When the energy is low, it feels awful. When the energy is high, it feels delicious. Why do you think people like to take cocaine so much? They get hooked on that stuff. Why? Because it makes them feel good. Hello? Why would you keep taking a drug if it makes you feel bad? That's kind of like weird. Anyways, I don't do drugs. But let's take the emotion of sadness. When you feel sad, think of your body. Your body isn't judging whether or not something is good or bad. Your body is just is registering the energy. And the energy is supposed to tell you certain things so you know what to do about it. So you feel sadness. So what is the thing it's telling you? It's telling you to slow down and to withdraw. This is a natural thing that happens to every human being. What is the communication? The communication is that there is some kind of loss. There has been a loss of something somewhere. So what's the action that's indicated or required? It requires a form of healing. Okay, I'm not getting into the how to do this yet, ladies. This is just give you an idea about all these emotions. Fear and anxiety is about getting the heck away from something. Okay, you're scared of something, you're in a situation. In your scenario, Christine, you talk about a relationship that was not going well. You had to get the heck out of there because that stuff was scary. You understand? You don't want to keep living that way. What's the communication? Danger, threat. What are you seeking? You want safety. Agreed, Christine?
Oh yeah, that's the biggest thing is I don't ever feel safe. I don't think I've ever felt safe even before that marriage.
Yes. Now watch this. Now the funny thing about you not feeling safe means this, that you'll always get into situations where you will not feel safe because that's how you feel. It is impossible for you to have anything other than that, a lack of safety because you don't feel that way. The trick is, how do you feel safe again? And the answer is one step at a time. And that's what coaching, it's not like you need therapy. I mean, therapy is fine if you want to do therapy. Okay? Therapists treat people as if they're broken. You're not broken. You're just out of order. You're out of line with your true nature. There's a true essence about you that's whole, healed, and balanced and is living life deliciously. Okay? But most of us, I use us collectively, we don't get to experience that most of our lives. We don't get to experience until we're 50 some odd years old. We sell our house, we go buy an RV, we travel the country. Right, Carol? Okay? You know what I'm saying? This is a good thing. Anger. So when you have the fear and anxiety, this thing of anger comes up. What's anger about? You feel attacked. You know what I'm saying? When you're angry, you want to attack or you want to be assertive. Okay? What is the message your body is telling you? The body is telling you that someone is trying to take advantage of you or something isn't fair, right, Carol? This guy is a jerk. Hello? How the heck he get that job? Really, I can do a whole lot better than he can. So what is your body, what's your reaction? It's protection and setting boundaries. Sometimes it means getting the heck out of there because you get so annoyed and frustrated with the scenario, right? More women are hung up, I'm going to use that word loosely, not to be negative, with this thing called guilt and shame. Shame is about covering up. It communicates to you that there's something wrong with me. And what is you seeking? You're seeking social acceptance and approval. Okay? Nothing wrong with that, but that's what it says. What's guilt all about? It's about making amends, solving the problem, but we don't really get to do that. Okay? What does it say to you? I've done something wrong to you. And sometimes the people have done something wrong to themselves. Okay? And they feel guilty about that. So what is the action for healing? It's about self-respect. And how do you get that back? Love. God, Lord, if we can only experience that, because this is what this workshop is about. Love is about caring for and nurturing. It's about protection. It's about being kind. Now, I'm not talking about being nice, because anybody can be nice, okay? And that's temporary. But kindness, and Christine, let me know if you agree with this, because, you know, Coach Viv says lots of things that people don't agree with, and it's okay. Kindness has to come from your core. Anybody can be nice, but not everybody will be kind. You can't be kind if that's not who you really are. You know, does that make any kind of sense? It's like, oh, I'm not sure about that, Viv. I can be kind, but no. Real kindness comes from your core, your essence. Okay? What does it mean about being kind? The reception, the receptant is worthy. The person who's receiving the kindness, they're worthy to receive the kindness. So what do you want to do? You want to stay close to them. What is it about? It's about connection and relationship, interpersonal relationship. Okay? And Carol and Christine, we all want that. We want to have relationships and feel connected to other people. We're not in this world to live by ourselves. You know, we need each other to survive out here. You can't live out here alone. This delicious thing called joy. Joy is about doing more of the same. Do more of the same. What is it? It feels good. It is good. Why? Why does it feel good? It feels good because it is good. And what is it? How does it leave you feeling? Very satisfied and at peace. Comments, ladies?
Sorry, I just got locked out of Facebook, which we're trying to fix Facebook, and I'm locked out of my account, so I'm trying to figure that out.
Okay, no worries. Carol? Does any of that resonate with you, Carol? Cool.
Yeah.
I know it does. Yeah, based on our past conversation. Now, here's the next step. Any questions? Are we good? Thumbs up if you're good. Thumbs down like, Viv, what are you talking about? So the question is, how do you get out of this mess? Here, there's a remedy. Oops, back one. 7 steps to love, happiness, wealth, healthy body, and lifestyle. I like to put these cute little pictures up here because I love that stuff. So this little bird here is peace, inner peace, love. This also means peace. It's really I forgot the language. Sanskrit. So there's 7 steps to achieving a sane and happy life. It first starts with being open-minded. You can't go anywhere if your mind isn't open. You got to be open to learning and exploring new things. Otherwise, it won't work. You know, I don't worry about people who register for these workshops. I mean, lots of people register. I have a registration sheet right in front of me of people who register to be on this call. I don't worry about people who are not on the call. I am focused on who is on the call and who wants to hear, because that's really what matters most. Once you're more open-minded, there's this thing called awareness. What is awareness? Awareness is beginning to know some things that you don't know that you didn't know. Okay? That's what awareness is. You're now learning some things that you didn't know that you didn't know. That's what awareness is. When that comes, you get to learn to be a little bit more appreciative of things. You start seeing some good stuff that you didn't see before. You have more of an attitude of acceptance, not really trying to change Joe who walked in the room with a bad attitude. Joe is who he is. Joe had a bad hair day. You don't know what's going on in Joe's life, so don't get into his Kool-Aid. Don't jump in the playpen with Joe. Even if he invite you to join into the playpen, don't get in his playpen, because it's not your monkey. It's not even your playpen. Okay? You can't help him in the playpen. You have to stay outside the playpen, reach to raise him up. Okay? Because if you're in a playpen, you're at the same level he is. Once you start doing that, this aspect of celebration happens. You start seeing some things that you can appreciate. I know for sure, at least I think I know for sure, that Carol is excited about what's getting ready to happen for herself and her beautiful husband regarding what the decisions they've made about their lives and what they're getting ready to do. I can see the gleam in her eyes and a smile in his face about what you guys are getting ready to do. There's a lot of uncertainty. You don't know how things are going to work out, but it's exciting moving forward. Is it not, Carol? Isn't it a little exciting what you're getting ready to embark upon? I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it. Even if you don't say it, I can feel it, you know? What comes after that is a thing called inspiration. I think I spelled it right. I-N-S-P. Yeah, inspiration. Once that happens, the things that you want in your life starts to materialize. And that's really how the cycle works. Okay? You have to feel it to get it. This next slide. Let's see if I can do this. Wait, not that one. This one, my favorite guy. I think Carol's familiar with this. Michael Singer wrote a book called The Untethered Soul. He says our central problem, the main problem, is that we believe in order to find peace and happiness, it requires that we rearrange things out on the outside in order to be happy. In other words, the guy who walked into the coffee shop with a bad attitude, we need to change him. He needs to be rearranged. He needs to go out the door and come back in with a different attitude, right? Because that's how we're going to have our happiness, and that's how we're going to find our peace. But it doesn't work that way. Next sentence is, while there are external things that need to be changed, like the guy who walked in the coffee shop, things like hatred, discrimination, violence, poverty, abusiveness, all that stuff really should change. The key is that we must first deal with our own inner conflicts and the war that's going on inside of us first. We have to do that first. When we do this, we'll be able to creatively and sustainably experience lasting peace around us. Carol, you'll be able to sit in that coffee and enjoy your coffee, right? And the guy who would have come in with an attitude, he'll pick another coffee shop and go someplace else. That's the power that you have over changing your environment. But it can only happen from the inside out. It has to come from within you. That's this thing I mentioned about kindness. Kindness comes from within. It is not an exterior thing. It's something that comes from your core. We will have a better perspective. When we do that, we'll have a better perspective of how we... when we do that, we'll have a better perspective. I think I just admitted somebody. We'll have a better perspective as to how we see external problems and can approach solutions from a higher state of consciousness above the level of awareness that we currently have. And that's really pretty much how it works. All right, so we go to the next slide. Welcome, Jennifer. The next slide, Carol is very familiar with. Hi, Jennifer. Are you muted? Okay. Carol is familiar with this book, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. If you guys don't have, ladies don't have the book, I highly recommend you get it. I mean, it's an incredible read. It's a delicious book. I mean, I read it several times, and every time I read it, I get more out of it. But here's some key points that he shared that I want to share with you all. And he says, we have the need to be accepted and to be loved by others, but we cannot accept and love ourselves. That is why we suffer. We're so worried and concerned about being accepted and loved by other people. But until we can love and appreciate ourselves, we're going to continue to suffer. We want the other person to change so that we can be happy. But it doesn't work that way. That is not how it works. That is so out of order with the way the God or infinite intelligence or the universe put things into place. It is out of harmony with nature to be otherwise. The second point he mentions is this. We have an image of perfection of ourselves that causes us to reject ourselves. We think we're not pretty enough. I know I did for a long time. Or we think we're not good enough, or we're not smart enough, or whatever, or we're not sexy enough, or whatever you want to call it. We think that. We have this attitude of not enoughness. we have this image of perfection, and this image of perfection is based on something external to us. It is not anything internal. And in fact, there's some place, well, I won't get into the biblical aspect of it, but we talk about this aspect of perfection. Perfection means wholeness. Okay? It's not about you're not having anything impurities or what. In other words, it's not about you have one eye versus two eyes. It's not about the physical aspect of perfection. It's about wholeness, and it's from the inside. And the last point is that this is why we do not accept ourselves the way that we are, and this is also why we don't accept other people the way that they are. We can't accept ourselves. So how in the world can we accept other people? We want other people to change so that our life can be delicious. Okay? So let me back up one more time. Any questions at this point? Anybody? Because that's what I have for you today. I mean, I don't want to hold you too long. I just wanted to share those quick points. Any questions so far? Because I have questions for you. So you better ask me now.
Okay, so these are great statements, but how do you overcome them?
Let's go back to this. You have to change. Okay, here.
Thoughts?
Yes, ma'am. Remember, thought is first cause. So what are you going to, so the thing is, what is he going to think about? What do you think you need to, when I say change thoughts, what does that mean, Carol? Change thoughts how? What does that look like?
I think sometimes, though, when people are really in a negative pattern, it's hard for them to get to a positive pattern.
Let's talk about,
how do you do that?
Let's make it personal. We don't have, I didn't ask people the question, I asked you the question. Let's talk about you, if you don't mind. You know how Coach Viv, you know exactly how Coach Viv works. Come on now, bring it home.
Sometimes it's hard to do that.
Why? What makes it hard? Where are we on this scale here? What makes it hard, Carol? Where are we?
You're not open-minded to it, I guess.
Yeah. So let's talk about what does open-mindedness look like? What does that mean to be open-minded?
That you're willing to accept or come up with a solution, I guess.
But what if you can't come up with a solution? What else could it mean? What else could it mean? Open mind. When you open your refrigerator, what do? The
light comes in.
The light comes in. But why did you open the refrigerator?
You can see things.
Huh? What?
You can see things. You can see things.
You can see what things? You can see what's inside the refrigerator. Yes, right? You're looking to see what's inside the refrigerator so you can decide if there's something you want to take out of the refrigerator or if there's something you want to put into the refrigerator. Is that true?
Okay.
Yeah, we open the refrigerator for 3 reasons. 1, to see what's inside. 2, we can take something out. Or 3, we can put something in. That's why we open the refrigerator. Unless we're a toddler. Because a toddler, let's say a 3-year-old, opens it because it's there. Hello. It's like, they don't have any motivation. Oh, the refrigerator, I can open it. You notice how some homes, the parents will put a safety latch on cabinet doors so the child can't open the door and get into mischief? That's why we open doors. Why? To see what's inside, to put something in, or to take something out. Okay? That's why we open doors. So an open mind, you have to open your mind first so you can see what's inside your mind. Okay? Now, Viv, I got so much in my mind, it's so cluttered. I'm ADHD, or I'm bipolar, or I have one lady was telling me she's what was she saying? I forgot what she said she was. Oh yeah, she just said she was knitting and rocking back and forth. She said, I have ADHD. I'm like, okay, you want to keep owning that? She looked, wait, and she stopped a second and like, what? And she literally stopped. You know, she was nurturing the fact that she was what she was, ADHD or whatever you call, I forgot how you call those things. Okay? I said, well, do you want to keep telling that story? Why don't you tell the story the way you want it to be? Well, she's never done that before. No one ever said that to her before. You mean I can change my thoughts? Of course you can. Okay? So first you got to have an open mind, Carol, because if your mind isn't open, you can't see what's inside. You can't take anything out. And you can't put anything in. Does that make sense? Copy. Any, Christine, Jennifer, anybody else?
As far as questions?
Yes, or comments.
Well, I guess my question would be, and there's an echo here, so it's kind of distracting me. Would be as far as the trauma stuff I was talking about, the PTSD. It seems like my body would start reacting before my head even catches up with it.
Yes.
And then I realize what's going on. And then, you know, I can start dealing with it and going through different steps I've learned. But it's this initial trigger. It's like it's subconscious or something. So I don't know how to, is there a way to stop that process? I haven't been to a counselor or anybody that can figure that one out.
Okay, here you go. Whatever's echoing, just put it on mute for a second. Just listen. Okay. Here you go. Here's the answer to your question. Uh-oh, there it is. If you understand, let's go back one more time. If you understand that thought is first cause, when you notice something is out of sort, you must make a conscious decision to stop right here in the mind and notice what you've done.
Yeah.
Because you can't change what's happened, all right? You cannot change what's already done, but you can consciously stop and think about what you've done and make a conscious decision to do the opposite of that. And you have to, and that takes training your mind. You have to retrain your brain because you weren't born that way. Where you are right now, you, Christine, your scenario, that's not how you were born. You became that way over time from repeated behavior of thinking, behavior, emotions, thinking, behavior, feelings. You understand? It's a cycle. And remember I told you earlier, it's what I call a cognitive, and by the way, I'm a psychologist. It is a cognitive triangle. You can't change it. You understand? You can't change the flow, but you can change the content. You understand? The process will always be in place. That doesn't change. But you can change the content of your thoughts. You remember the old saying about, I think maybe Jennifer can identify with this, how Martin Luther King talked about judging people on the content of their character, not the color of their skin. I'm sure you probably heard something similar to that. The content of their character. The content of the character has to do with how the people behave themselves. How are they showing up? Remember, your behavior is what you do. Okay? We judge people mostly on their what we can see, and that's their behavior, right? We don't have a clue about how they feel. We don't really know what they're thinking. But I promise you, if you notice how they behave, you can tell what their thoughts are, because their thoughts are what determine the behavior, and the emotions that they feel anchor the behavior. That's why it's so hard for people to break habits. Okay? You cannot break a habit by just changing the behavior. You have to change the thinking that underlines the behavior. Does that make sense? Remember, we go back to the Petri dish. Remember, the thought is the seed. It's been planted there. It's growing. Christine can appreciate this, and so can you, Carol. In a Petri dish, whatever you put in that Petri dish is going to grow. Remember, thoughts are seeds. And the mind is like a Petri dish. And whatever you put on that Petri dish, or whatever you put in that mind, is going to grow. And it's going to have outcomes and results. Only you can decide what seeds to plant. Seeds are your thoughts. They're your beliefs. Okay? Because what beliefs are, Carol and Christine and Jennifer, beliefs are just thoughts that you think over and over again. That's what a belief is. A belief are thoughts that you hold over and over again, and they'll become your truth. That's what's true for you. Because sometimes, Christine, would you agree, what's true for you may not be true for me? Would you agree with that, Christine? Thumbs up.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, okay? So the key is, what is this thing called truth? T-R-U-T-H. There are some universal truths, T-R-U-T-H, that don't change. It doesn't matter what your belief system is, what your religion is, your ethnicity, your culture. It doesn't matter what degree you have or don't have. There are some universal truths that never change. And one of those truths is thoughts are seeds. And thoughts are first cause. And nothing happens without thought, whether you are aware of it or not. And most of the things, Christine, we're on automatic pilot with our behavior. This ADHD, those kind of things are on automatic pilot. We have been so trained and so programmed that we are so out of control now of our behavior. Our thoughts are running us instead of us running our thoughts. But you, Christine, and Vivian, and Carol, and Jennifer, you are not your thoughts. You are more than your thoughts. And that's another whole class. There's a part of you that is at peace and resident and is aware of your abundance. But your behavior and your thinking has blocked your success. Your behavior and your thinking is keeping you from getting out of the situation that you're in. Your behavior and thinking is keeping you from having the success you want in your life. It's not because of the guy that walked into the coffee shop that you're having a bad day. It's your decision to pay attention to the guy who walked in the coffee shop who's having a bad day impact you. You have to make a conscious decision to live in a place of peace and awareness. And sometimes it means talking to yourself. Okay? Taking a walk. Christine, that's why it feels so delicious to go outside the house. You know, to go walk in a park. Or go pet your cat if you have a cat. You know what I'm saying? Just getting some fresh air. Taking some deep breaths, which is free. Taking deep breaths, breathing deeply and often is a way to help shift your energy so that you can get a control and handle of your mind. Okay? That's what needs to happen today. We need to get control of our thinking. You are the keeper of your garden, which is your mind. It's not Coach Viv. It's not even Carol. You keep your own mind. You are the only one who has absolute control over the seeds that you plant in your mind. You do. If you don't tend your garden, which is your mind, and the seeds that you plant in it, weeds. Now, what do you think weeds are? Weeds will take up your garden and will produce unwanted results. What do you think weeds are?
The negative energy.
Could be. What is a weed?
Extra.
Is a weed a plant?
It's an extra plant that you don't necessarily want.
Thank you. A weed is a plant that you don't want in your garden, okay? So a weed is a thought, but it's a thought that you don't want. So guess what you get to do? You get to pluck it out and put it someplace else. But you have to do it. You have to pay attention to it. I plant a garden every year. Every year I have a beautiful garden. But I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm always out there pulling up the weeds or the plants that I don't want with my other plants, right? And if you notice, next time you go, notice a garden, now watch this now. The weeds that grow around a particular plant actually looks like that plant. Have you noticed that? The weed mimics a plant that you want to keep. Now, why does that weed do that? It's intelligent too, you know. The weed does that because it wants to grow too, and it wants to stay planted in your mind. It wants to take over the good stuff. Because if you don't weed your garden, guess what happens? It takes over the good plants that you want, right, Carol? If you don't weed that garden, will it not take over? Yes. So you have to tend your garden and the seeds that you plant in it. If you don't, the weeds will take over your garden and produce unwanted results. You'll keep having bad relationships. You keep picking the wrong guy, or the wrong guy keeps picking you. Hello? You keep having clients who won't show up, or they cancel, okay? Or they don't pay you, which is what, oh God. You know, you keep having those kinds of nasty things, okay? The fruit or results of your planting will always be more than you have planted. Let me say that again. I'll slow that down for a little bit. The fruit or the results or the outcome of your behavior or your thinking will always produce more. You're going to get more than you planted, more than you bargained for every single time. It will be worse than you thought it was. Say amen if you can. You know, the stuff gets bad, okay? The universe, which I call Mother Nature or Father Time, will yield fruits of your labor. You will always reap what you sow. There are no exceptions to that. Okay? Let me jump here because I just want to share with you real quick what's coming up. I decided because this was so delish. Some more free sessions coming up in 2022. January, we're going to talk about a subject called New Beginnings. February, Love is in the Air. March, New Birth, New Awakenings. April, Time to Plant Fresh Ideas. May, Turning Uncertainty into Opportunity. June, Creating Success with Your Mind instead of your behind. Now, just so you know, that's about rich people are rich not because they work their behind, it's because they work their mind and they have multiple streams of income. Okay? We'll talk about that. Celebrate Your Freedom is in July. August is Time to Harvest, Reaping What You Have Sown. Okay? So, if there's something else you all want to see or have me talk about, just let me know. Coach Viv is happy to presenting the subject you want. I really thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And happy holidays. And remember, I offer free private coaching sessions. Okay? I have those free things for you guys. So you need to book today. Let me unshare my screen so I can see your lovely faces. Okay? Any questions, anybody?
Have you done anything on limiting beliefs?
I beg your pardon?
Have you done any workshops on limiting beliefs?
Yes, that's also a part of, yes, I have. Do you want me to do another one?
Well, I've never heard the first one.
Well, you know what you can do? If you don't mind, shoot me an email. If you want me to do a workshop on that, I will. Not a problem.
How do we contact you with the free coaching sessions you were talking about?
It's just an email, Vivian@VivianHardison.com. Or here my phone number's at the bottom. Let me know. We'll book a time and we'll do that.
Okay.
Okay? Anything else, anybody? It has been my joy always hanging out with everybody. So let me know what you're thinking. Please feel free to email me. By the way, this will be up on YouTube. Go to YouTube. I have a YouTube site. It's called, what is it? Vivian Hardison Motivational. Just look me up. I'm on YouTube all over the place. I don't put up a whole lot of content. I only put up what I think is important. And I'm very particular about what I put up. I'm not chasing Instagram or Facebook. I don't do that. That's not how I roll. But I do love people and I do love helping people. So I'm here to serve, and this is my joy and my mission in life. So any closing? Yes, my dear.
I'm trying to figure out where your contact info is. I don't know if I'm not seeing it on your screen.
I can send it to you, Christine.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. You don't see it on. Oh, that's right. Yeah. If you can't see it, I can email. Well, Carrie, you want to do that? Okay, fine. If you send me your email, yes. It's also on my website. My name, VivianHardison.com. All my contact stuff is there. Phone numbers, everything is there. I'm easy to find.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Anything? Anybody?
No, thank you for your time today, Vivian.
Is somebody talking? Is that Jennifer?
Yeah, it's Jennifer. Yeah, thank you.
Jen, I can't hear you, sweetie.
Oh, I was simply saying thank you so much for your time. Unfortunately, I was visiting with my mom, so I missed part of it, but I will be trying to get the replay.
Like I said, it'll be up on YouTube, okay, ladies, and you can call Viv anytime. I'm in the middle of finals, but I promise you I'll pick up the phone, okay? Right, Carol? Do I answer my phone, Carol?
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Yes, you do. Echo, echo, echo. I don't know where the echo's coming from.
It's on somebody else's phone. If
I
you,
know, I can hear it too.
all right. Does anybody have any more questions for Coach Viv?
No.
If you do,
Blessings to you.
just call me privately, okay? I don't expect you to just share everything on these calls. You know, there's some things you might not want to say, which is fine. I respect that. So just call me and I'd be very happy to talk with you.
Will do.
With that, I'm going to let you go, honey. Peace and blessings, beautiful souls. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back in January. Stay, if you want to get the mailings, please email me and I have my virtual assistant send. Make sure you get email blasts about when things are happening with Coach Viv, okay?
Okay.
Thumbs up, everybody. Take care and stay safe out here.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Great.